Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most influential books in psychology and behavioral economics, Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. If you've ever wondered why we make decisions the way we do, or why our brains sometimes take shortcuts, this book is a must-read. So, let's break down its key ideas in just 10 minutes. Kahneman introduces us to two ways our brains work: System 1 and System 2. Think of System 1 as your fast, intuitive brain, making quick decisions without much thought. It's automatic, instinctive, and often emotional. For example, when you see a face and immediately know what mood the person is in, that's System 1 in action. Then there's System 2, which is the slower, more deliberate and analytical side. This system kicks in when you're solving a complex math problem or deciding on a big life choice. It requires effort and attention, and it's what we use when System 1 can't handle the task. Here's a quick example. If I ask, what's 2 plus 2? Component placement, you immediately think 4 without much effort, thanks to System 1. But if I ask, what's 17 times 24? Component placement, now your brain slows down, you pause, and System 2 takes over. One of the fascinating insights from the book is that while System 1 is fast and efficient, it's also prone to errors. It relies on heuristics, mental shortcuts, that help us make decisions quickly, but can often lead us to biased or incorrect conclusions. For instance, Kahneman talks about anchoring bias. This happens when we rely too much on the first piece of information we receive. Let's say you're buying a car. The first price the dealer shows you, say $30,000, sets the anchor. Even if you negotiate, your final price will likely still be closer to that initial number than if you hadn't heard it. Another example is the availability heuristic. This is when we judge the likelihood of events based on how easily we can recall similar instances. If you've recently seen news about a plane crash, you might overestimate the danger of flying, even though statistically, it's still very safe. System 1 jumps to conclusions based on what's most readily available in your memory. Now, let's talk about one of Kahneman's most famous concepts, loss aversion. This idea explains why losses hurt more than gains feel good. For example, losing $50 feels worse than gaining $50 feels good. This can lead us to make overly cautious decisions, even when we stand to benefit. Kahneman's work with prospect theory expands on this idea. We don't always act rationally when weighing risks and rewards. People tend to avoid risks when thinking about potential gains, but become more willing to take risks when trying to avoid a loss. It's why gamblers might keep betting to avoid losing more money. And here's one that affects most of us: the planning fallacy. We tend to be overly optimistic about how much time or resources it will take to complete a task. Think of the last time you planned to finish a project, but ended up taking twice as long. That's because System 1 is overconfident in predicting future outcomes. Speaking of overconfidence, Kahneman explains how humans are generally too confident in their judgments. We often think we know more than we do. This is especially common when we're making predictions about the future, whether it's the stock market, politics, or even personal relationships. So, what does all of this mean? The big takeaway from Thinking Fast and Slow is that our minds are often not as rational as we'd like to believe. System 1 is great for quick decisions, but it can lead us astray. We need to be aware of when to engage System 2 and slow down our thinking, especially when making important decisions. Kahneman's insights have practical implications for everything from business and investing to personal life. By understanding how our brain works, we can make better choices, avoid biases, and recognize when our fast thinking might be leading us down the wrong path. And that's a quick summary of Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more insightful content. Let me know in the comments what bias or heuristic surprised you the most. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.